So let's start lying down. So legs can be out long, soles of the feet can be together, and the knees open up to the side for a gentle hip opener. Or if you want to put the soles of your feet and bend your knees, you can do that to start. Whatever's going to be most comfortable for you and allow you to kind of come into your body this morning. So maybe you've been up for a while, or maybe you've just woken up. So whatever's going to allow you to waken up to this moment, right? So take a full breath in and a long breath out. Yeah, do that again. Take a full belly breath in, fill up, and then take a long breath out, releasing all of that air. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Right, unhinge your jaw. And soften the space between your eyes. And begin to notice. Notice breath. Notice sensation. Notice what body showed up this morning. Right? Right, and notice it without judgment. Right, that is the work, is noticing without judgment. Right, because however you show up is where you're supposed to be. And if the mind starts to drift, which it will, right? Because that's what we're wired to do, is think and drift and plan and obsess and create stories and narratives, right? That's what our brain does. So just come back, just come back to that breath, or to the sound in your house, or the sounds outside. Or come back to sensation. I've been doing a lot of listening this week, listening to podcasts and listening to books. Just trying to lean in and listen a little bit more, both to the voices outside of myself and the voice in my brain. And Cheryl Strayed is one of my favorites. She's one of those people, much like Brene Brown, that I would love to have a cocktail with, or a cup of coffee. And she says that real change happens on the level of the gesture. It's when one person doing one thing differently than he or she has done it before. Right? So real change happens on gesture. One person doing one thing differently than they have done it before, right? In the hopes that that echoes and ripples out. Start to deepen your breath. Right? And as you move through practice, maybe, that change happens in your practice. You try something that you haven't done before, right? Maybe you listen to your body and not your mind. Start to bring some movement into your fingers and your toes. Right? Because this mat where we practice is a safe place to try things out, to try to be more resilient, to try different ways of being. And we practice it here so that when we step off and go out into the wild, it becomes a little bit easier. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Massage your low back. And then on your next exhale, drop the knees over towards the right side of your room. Keeping the shoulder blades on the back, the arms can go out to the side. You can look out over the left shoulder. Right, and part of that change in gesture is being willing or courage to step into vulnerability. Right? Vulnerability is showing up when you can't control the outcome. You can't control the conversation, but you know that you need to lean in. Take a breath in, the knees come back to center. And on the exhale, they drop over to the left side of the room. Courage is to tell the story of one's heart, right? So you live from that space and you step into that vulnerability. Take a breath in, you come back to center. Reach in between your knees, grab the outside edges of your feet. Come into this opening happy baby. So feet shine up towards the ceiling. Nothing strenuous. Keep the spine long on the mat. Tailbone reaching towards the front of the mat. Right, and it's that gesture of courage and willingness to be vulnerable that allows change to take place. Maybe you rock side to side here. Take a breath in. You're going to release the grip from your feet. And then the legs are going to go straight up into the air. So if you saw my picture of Kermit the Frog this morning, you kind of know what's coming today, right? A little foreshadowing there. And maybe it took some courage to decide to show up for class when you know the abs are coming. So feet are flexed up towards the ceiling. The hands can be down by your side. Hands can come underneath your back if you need a little bit of support. So you're going to take a breath in. You're going to stretch through that right foot. And on the exhale, the left leg is going to come to cover. Inhale, the right leg is going to come up. And on the exhale, the left leg comes to a hover. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, the right leg lowers. Keep hugging the belly into the spine. Press down into the low back. Right leg is lifted. On the exhale, it lowers. Inhale, that right leg comes up. And on an exhale, the left leg lowers to a hover. Beautiful. Keep breathing. Inhale, that left leg lifts. Exhale, the right leg lowers to a hover. Keep pressing through the sole of the right foot. Inhale, that right leg lifts up. Exhale, the left leg lowers to a hover. Beautiful. Two more. Left leg lifts up on an inhale. Right leg to a hover. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, the left leg lowers. Then on your inhale, that left leg's going to lift. Keep the legs lifting straight up. Feet are flexed. Take a breath in. Exhale, both feet lower to a hover. Really press through the feet. Engage the muscles on the leg. In. Take a breath in. Inhale, both legs lift up. Exhale, hover. Inhale, you lift. Exhale, you hover. Two more. Inhale, you lift up. Exhale, you hover. Last one. Inhale, you lift up. Exhale, you hover. This time you lift the legs up. Massage that low back. You're going to start rocking front to back and make your way into downward facing dog. Right, so I got the way in the beginning of class, although they may come back up when you think we're headed to Shavasana, right? But that's okay. You can do it. So here you are in downward facing dog. Your hands are shoulder distance apart. The fingers are spread. You're pressing down through all the fingertips. Shoulders are moving down the back. The hips are lifted up towards the ceiling. Feet are hip distance. The weight is in the legs, right? So let the legs take the weight off of your wrists. Maybe there's a slight bend in your knee. And take a full breath in, right? And a long breath out. Right, so change is a gesture, right? So maybe you always move when you come into down dog. So maybe you change it up, right? Maybe you choose stillness. Maybe you'll learn something. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, you're going to come up to your toes, and on the exhale, you're going to drop the heels over towards the right side of your room. So just the heels. So make sure that the upper body and the legs don't move over and the hips don't move over towards the right side. It's just your heels so you can get that stretch in the calves. Take a breath in, you come back to center. Exhale, you drop the knees over towards the left. Inhale, you come back to center, and on the exhale, let the heels sink towards the mat. Beautiful. Inhale, you're going to glide forward to a high plank. You pause in this high plank, the shoulders are stacked over the wrists, the thigh bones are lifting up towards the ceiling, the belly button's hugging in towards the engage the abs to give yourself support. You can always drop the knees. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, you go back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in. You look forward, you glide to high plank. And really press down through the hands so that the back side of the body gets light. Take a breath in, exhale, downward facing dog. Right. Vulnerability is the courage to show up when you don't know the outcome. Change is the gesture when you don't know the outcome. Take a breath in and a breath out. Walk your hands back towards your feet so you land at the back of the mat. Come into ragdoll, so take your feet wide, grab opposite elbows, let the head and neck release. As you breathe in and the head and fill up, and then the exhale, can you release the head and neck towards the mat a little bit more, right? Right, if we each did one thing differently than we've ever done it before, there would be this collective of change. And I feel, right, that might be starting to happen with some conversations that are taking place, right? Because it starts with us, right? And so it's the practice of the gesture, of the noticing, of being willing to step into the vulnerable conversation and show our heart. Bring your fingertips down to the mat. Left hand stays down, right hand lifts up. Bend into the left knee as you stretch up. Twist open, right? And of course, none of this happens if we have a closed heart. Take a breath in. Right hand comes down to the mat. Left hand lifts up to the sky. Bend into the right knee. Beautiful. Take a breath in. That left hand comes down to heel your feet back to hip distance. Halfway lift on an inhale. So you roll on to the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, you fold. Walk your hands back out to plank. You pause in plank. On the balls of the feet, the thigh bones are lifting up. Take a breath in. Exhale, you lower down. Take your hands off of the mat. Come up to your fingertips. So this is called striking cobra. Take a breath in. You're going to broaden across the chest. Lift the heart. Exhale, you lower. 2 more. Take a breath in. Heart lifts. Press into the fingertips. Feel the expansion across the collarbone. Exhale, lower down. Last one. Breathe into that cobra. Exhale, you lower. Hands come back onto the mat and you press back to downward facing dog. Here you are in down dog. Take a breath in. You look forward, walk, step, or jump your feet to the hands. Halfway lift on a breath in. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, that right hand comes down by your side and you lean over towards the right side of the room. Left hand stretches over. Take a breath in. That right hand comes up and the left hand comes down. Lean over to the left on an exhale. Come back to center on your next inhale. Exhale, you fold forward. Halfway lift on a breath in. Exhale, you fold, you plant your hands, you step back to plank. So you have choices here. So you can hang out in plank if you want to do that. So maybe that's your change, right? Your gesture. Maybe that's you stepping into courage. You can do that. You can go straight back to downward facing dog, or you can flow, which means you're going to take a breath in, and on the exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to striking cobra or right cobra. Exhale, you lower, and you make your way back to downward facing dog. You take a breath in. You look forward, feet to the hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you empty out and fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, the left hand comes forward, the right hand comes back. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Inhale, you come back to center. And on the exhale, that right hand comes forward, comes back. The twist comes from the waist. Take a breath in. You come back to center. Exhale, you fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you plant your hands. You step back to plank. And you have those choices. And maybe you choose something different. You take a breath in. Exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in. You look forward. Walk, step, or jump your feet to your hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, the right hand comes down to the side. You lean over towards the right side of the room. You take a breath in. You come back up to center, pause, and then that left hand comes forward. The right hand comes back. You twist open. Take a breath in. You come back to center. Left hand comes down by your side. Stretch over towards the right side of the room. Keep rolling the right shoulder blade onto the back. Inhale, you come up to center. Right hand comes forward. Left hand comes back. Twist open to the left. Inhale, you come back to center. Exhale, you empty out and fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you plant your hands. You step back to plank. You pause in plank. You take a full breath in. Exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. You pause in downward facing dog and you check in, right? You check in with your thoughts. You check in with the conversation in your head. You check in with your body. You check in with your breath. On your next inhale, the right leg's going to lift in the air behind you. On the exhale, you're going to step it in between your hands, low lunge. Right, so in this low lunge, the right knee stacked over the right ankle. You're high on the ball of the left foot. The spine is long. The crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Take a breath in. That left hand's going to stay down. That right hand's going to come up, twist open. Open up the heart. Take a breath in. That right hand comes down, right? Left foot steps up to meet the right. So you're at the top of the mat. Right? Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Bend the knees, sit the hips, chair. So you lift the upper body up. Knees are bent. Weights in the back side of the body, heart's lifted. Hands can be at heart center or they can be framing your head. Hug the belly button in. And you breathe, right? It may be that maybe gesture as you're kind to yourself in this pose. Maybe that gesture is you tell yourself you've got this. Take a breath in, exhale, you fold. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it back to low lunge. Right, so that right knee stacked over that right ankle. Take a breath in and a breath out. You step back to plank. You can either flow through vinyasa or push back to downward facing dog. And that's where we'll meet up and do it again on the other side. So I had this really great flow going the other day. This sequence, I was really into it, and then my internet died. And now I'm trying to kind of remember what it was. Perry was like, do it on Saturday. And I was like, I'm never going to remember it. All right, here we go. Other side. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between the hands, low lunge, right? So that right heel, it likes to like swing out to the right side. Can you hug it into the center? Right. Keep bending into that left knee. Right hand stays down, left hand comes up, twist open. You breathe in and you breathe out. On the inhale, the spine lengthens, and on the exhale, that heart, the rib cage twists up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Take a breath in. That left hand comes down. You're in that low lunge, right? Ground down into the left foot. Right foot steps up to meet the left. You're at the top of the mat. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Bend the knees, sit the hips, breathe into chair. Right. Maybe the gesture here is you challenge yourself and you come up to your toes, right? I think the mat is a really great mirror for life, right? So we can face these challenges with ourselves and we know that we're okay, so that when we step into them off of the mat, we can have the courage and the vulnerability to step into them and know that we're going to be okay. I know, you're okay. You're in chair. Take a breath in. Exhale, you fold. Right leg lifts on an inhale. You're in that standing splits. And on the exhale, the toes touch down at the back of the mat. You're back in that low lunge. Right, so your feet are in two separate lanes. So really get the structure and the stability of this low lunge. Take a breath in. You step back to plank. You pause in plank. And then you either move through vinyasa or you go back to downward facing dog. From downward, breath in, right leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it in between the hands, low lunge. Inhale, that right hand lifts up to the sky, low lunge twist. Take a breath in, right hand comes down, left foot steps up to meet the right. You're at the top of the mat. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Bend the knees, sit the hips. Inhale into chair. Keep the weight in the back side. Toes are light. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Exhale, you fold. Lifts on an inhale, standing split. So here the fingertips are on the mat. Heart's reaching forward, crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Exhale, toes touch down at the back of the mat. Beautiful. Inhale, you rise up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. You twist open. So let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Keep bending into the right knee. Don't let it cave in. Keep pushing it out towards the right pinky toe. You got it. Take a breath in. That left hand comes down. That right hand lifts up. You're back in that low lunge twist. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Right hand comes down. You move through a flow or go back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in and the left leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between the hand, low lunge. Inhale, the left hand lifts up to the sky, low lunge twist. Exhale, that left hand comes down. You ground down into the left foot. Right foot steps up to meet the left. Right. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. You know where we're going. Bend the knees, sit the hips, chair. Keeping the heart lifted. Let the shoulders fall away from your ears. Where can you soften here? Where can that gesture of change be? Is it in the breath? Mind? Is it in the body? Take a breath in. Exhale, you fold. Right leg lifts on an inhale, standing split. So flex through the right foot. Exhale, the toes touch down at the back of the mat. You're back in that low lunge. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Up to high crescent lunge. Arms reach up overhead. And on the exhale, right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. Keep bending into the left knee. Lift the right thigh bone up towards the ceiling. You got it. Take a breath in. That right hand comes down. That left hand stays lifted. You're back in that low lunge twist. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Exhale. That left hand comes down. You move through vinyasa or move back to downward facing dog. All right, here we go. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in and a breath out. Right leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands. Inhale, that left hand comes up. Right hand comes up, low lunge twist. Beautiful. Exhale, the right hand comes down. You're back in that low lunge. Fingertips stay on the mat. We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to straighten the right leg, lift the left. You're up and standing splits. So you're top of the mat. You're pressing down into the right foot. The left foot's lifted, flexed. Heart's reaching forward. Crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Exhale, the left toes touch down at the back of the mat. Inhale, you come up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, the left hand comes forward, the right hand comes back, you twist open. And maybe you think, oh, I'm so glad she left out chair. Right? Take a breath in. That left hand comes down, the right hand lifts up. So from here, you can move into side plank. Right? So you're gonna roll to the outside edge of that left foot. You can drop the left knee Pressing down into the left hand. That right hand's reaching, the hip bones are lifting up towards the ceiling. You're facing the right side of the room. Beautiful. Or you can just stay in that twisted low lunge, right? You've got choices. Take a breath in. You're going to place the right foot back up in between your hands so you're back in that low lunge. Got it? You there? Beautiful. Take a breath in. You step back to plank. You either move through vinyasa or go back to downward facing dog. And here we are in downward facing dog. You take a breath in and lift that left leg in the air behind you. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands, low lunge. On the inhale, that left hand lifts, low lunge twist. The exhale, that left hand comes down. You're going to straighten the left leg, lift the right, standing splits at the top of the mat. All right, you got it. Heart's reaching forward. Hug the belly into the spine. Engage the abdominals. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Exhale, right toes touch down at the back of the mat. You're back in that low lunge. Inhale, up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. Let the shoulders soften. Maybe you look out over the left shoulder. Take a breath in. Right hand comes down to the mat. Left hand lifts up. You're in that twisted low lunge. You can stay here or you can move into side plank. So you roll to the outside edge of the right foot. You can lift the left leg, or you can keep the left foot stacked on the right. You can drop the right knee. Keep pressing down into the right hand. Lift the hip bones up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. So you're going to look up towards the front of your mat. You're going to take the left foot, place it in between your hands. You're back in that low lunge. All right, so that courage to try something new, to try something challenging, to step into vulnerability, not knowing if you're going to fall or stumble or say the wrong thing, right? But the point is the gesture, right? The gesture to change. Here you are in low lunge. Don't think I forgot about you. Take a breath in, you step back to high plank, move it through vinyasa, or make your way back to downward facing dog. Here we go. Take a breath in. Right leg lifts in the air behind you. Exhale, you step it forward in between the hands. You're going to take a breath in. Left hand stays down. Right hand lifts up. You have that low lunge twist. Maybe this time you reach the right hand over your ear towards the front of the room. Keep lifting the right rib cage up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Right hand comes down. Straighten the right leg. Lift the left. Your standing splits at the top of the mat. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Left foot's going to meet the right. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, you bend the knees. You sit the hips. Chair. Did you think it wouldn't come back? Right. So your hands can be at heart center, right? Let the shoulders roll onto the back. Let them soften. You're going to take a breath in, lean forward over your thighs. Take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Twist open. Keep shifting the hips towards the back of the mat. And then watch that left knee. It likes to pop forward. So pull the left hip crease and left sit bone back so that the knees are parallel. Keep pressing into the hands. Beautiful. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to ground down into the right foot. Left foot's going to lift up. You're going to hover it. And then on the exhale, you're going to step it back. to the back of the mat. So the elbow stays connected to the knee. You're in a low lunge and you're twisting open, hands moving towards heart center. You got it. Inhale, you come back up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Left hand comes down, right hand lifts up. We're back in that low lunge twist again. So you can stay here, you can move into side plank. Your choice. Step into courage, step into vulnerability. The poses I've tried at home because nobody's watching. I don't know if you wobble. In my mind, you're moving so beautifully and smoothly, right? You got it. Take a breath in. You come back to that low lunge. You step back to plank. You move through vinyasa. We got another side here. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Let's hope I can remember what we just did. Exhale, you step the left foot in between the hands, low lunge. Right hand stays down, left hand lifts up, low lunge twist. Exhale, that left hand comes down. You straighten the left leg, lift the right, standing splits. So really flex that right foot, press down into the sole of the left foot, pull up through the left thigh bone. Beautiful. Take a breath in. The right foot steps down to meet the left at the top of the mat. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, you bend the knees. You sit the hips, chair. So here you are in chair. The toes are light. You tell yourself you've got this. You're good. Hands come to heart center. You lean forward over the thighs on an inhale. Exhale, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. You twist open. Keep shifting the hips towards the back side of your body. Let the thighs and the glutes and the hamstrings, let them take the weight. Right? Watch that right knee. Pull it back. Beautiful. You're going to press down into the left foot. Right foot lifts to a hover. And then when you're ready, go ahead and step it back to the back of the mat. Keep that right elbow connected to the outside of the left knee. Keep bending into the left knee. The left thigh is parallel to the mat. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You come up to high crescent lunge. And on the exhale, that right hand comes, the left hand comes back. Then right hand comes down. We're in that low lunge twist. The left hand is lifted. So you stay here. You move into side plank. You know, each pose is an opportunity to engage in a gesture, right? A gesture with ourselves. So that which we practice becomes stronger. You're in side plank. You're going to come back to that low lunge. Left foot comes in between the hands. You're going to step back to high plank. You're either going to move through vinyasa or go back to downward facing dog. Each pose is an opportunity to step into courage and vulnerability. Take a breath in, take the knees wide to the edges of the mat, sit the hips back over the heels, come into child's pose. Oh, child's pose. Did you ever think we were going to get there? So fingertips are reaching out in front of you. The forehead's resting on the mat. You take a breath in and a breath out. Right, and you just notice. Come back to your breath.
That's not meant for that. Just sticks, no!
Okay. Take a breath in and a breath out. I'm telling my family, breathe in, breathe out. You're gonna walk your fingertips forward, walk them over towards the right side of the mat. You're actually gonna walk them off of the mat. Press into your hands, shift the left hip back towards the left heel. Feel the stretch on the left side body. Inhale, your hands come back to center, and then the exhale, walk them over towards the left side, off of the mat. Shift the right hip back towards the right heel. Press down into the hands. Take a breath in, the hands come back to center. Press down into the hands. So much so that the forearms lift up off of the mat, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Look forward, walk, step, or jump your feet to your hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Right leg lifts on an inhale. You're standing splits. Hi, Trisha. And so you're flexing that right foot. Take a breath in and a breath out. Right foot comes down to the mat. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Standing splits. Keep moving that heart forward towards the front of the room, like you're standing on the edge of a cliff or a diving board. Take a breath in. Exhale, left foot comes down. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. This time you're going to ground down into the left foot. Right foot's going to lift up as you come to standing. So the right knee stacked over the right ankle. Hands can come to heart center. They can be lifting up overhead. Press down into the left foot. Exhale, you're going to open up the knee towards the right side of the room, and then you're going to come into tree. So the sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the left calf, the left thigh, or the toes come down to the mat. Right, and maybe if you always put your toes down, maybe you try putting it on your calf, right? It changes that gesture. And sometimes we don't know the strength and the ability that we have until we step into that moment. Right? Maybe you close your eyes, arms reach up overhead. Take a breath in and a breath out. Your next exhale, right foot comes down to the mat. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, you fold forward. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Left leg lifts as you rise to standing. That left knee stacked over the left ankle. Press down into the right foot. Let the shoulders soften. Exhale, that left knee opens up towards the left side of the room, and then move into tree on this side. You want to keep the sole of the left foot away from the knee. Maybe you try something different with your arms here. You can reach them behind your back. Take a breath in and a breath out. Left foot comes down to the mat. Inhale, the arms reach up overhead. Exhale, you fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you plant the hands. You step back to plank. You pause. You press down into the hands. Hug the belly in. And you breathe here. And you keep breathing here. And take a breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands. We're heading into pigeon, so you're going to walk the right foot over to the left side of the mat. You can drop the left knee. So you can stay up on your hands, or you can walk your hands forward. You can come down to a block to your forearms. Right, this hip opener. You breathe in, you breathe out. Right, and you notice. Can you change your thought here? Maybe your mind tells you you want to back out of it, but that's the point where the pose starts, right? When we want to escape. So breathe in, lean in. Take a breath in and a breath out. Your next inhale, you're going to walk your hands back towards your right shin. You're going to come up to the toes of your left foot. You're going to kick that right leg back. You're in a three-legged down dog. You're going to bend the knees, stack the hips, roll it open. And if you want to flip your dog, you can do that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, wait till you get into the studio and we'll break that one down. Take a breath in and a breath out. Straighten that right leg. Right toes come down to the mat. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands. You're in a low lunge. You're going to walk the left foot towards the right side of the mat. Come into pigeon on this side. Right knee comes down to the mat. Change starts with a gesture. A gesture of something that someone hasn't done before. And there is power in that gesture. It becomes an example, a model. A beacon that others can step into change and vulnerability and courage, so that collectively we can create change. Take a breath in and a breath out. Walk your hands back towards your shin. Tuck the right toes. Come into that three-legged down dog, left leg's lifted in the air behind you. Bend the knees, stack the hips, roll it open. If you want to flip your dog, flip it here. If not, hang out. Take a breath in, you straighten the left leg, left toes come down to the mat. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. You're gonna walk your feet through your hands and come down to your back, hug the knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Take your feet wide to the edges of the mat so the soles of the feet are flat on the mat. And you're going to drop both knees over towards the right side of the room. You can take that right foot and place it on top of the left thigh. That's going to give you a little bit more sensation in that hip. Arms can be out wall to wall, and you can look out over the left shoulder. Inhale, the knees come back to center. Exhale, you drop them over towards the left side of your room. Right, and you notice here as we wind down, like, where does your head go? Can you stay here in your body, on your mat, in the moment? Take a breath in, you come back to center. That right knee is going to come, stay hugged in. The left leg's going to go out long. You're going to take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, cross it over the body. And take a breath in, breath out. Come back to center on the inhale. That right leg goes out long, left knee stays hugged in. Right hand to the outside of the left knee, cross it over the body. That left hand can go out long. Keeping the shoulder blades on the mat. Take a breath in, you come back to center. Hug both knees into the chest, come into happy baby. So reach in between your thighs, grab the outside edges of the feet. Soles of the feet are shining up towards the ceiling. The spine is long, the knees are coming down towards the armpits. Maybe you rock side to side here. Take a breath in, a breath out. Release the grip on your feet. Legs go straight up in the air. Not to worry, no more abs. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Your next exhale, right foot comes down to the mat, and then the left. Heels go into the high corners of the mat. Arms go by your side. Let the back side of your body sink into the earth. Shoulders fall away from the ears. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Shavasana. If your mind drifts, you come back. Real change happens on the level of the gesture. If one person doing one thing differently, then he or she has done it before. It's the gesture to step into vulnerability, into courage, not knowing what the outcome will be. That's what enables us to create change, both within ourselves and as the greater community. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement into your fingers and toes. Keeping your eyes closed, roll gently to your right side and pause. And when you're ready, help yourself up to seated at the top of your mat. Together, take a breath in, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Pause. Your thumbs rest on your heart space. Together, take a full breath in and a long breath out. The light and truth in me sees and honors that in each of you. Thank you for spending part of the day with me. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Together we say, Namaste.